When I was a boy, my papa would always ask me, "Mr. Mello, what would you like to be when you grow up?" And I always told him, "Papa, when I grow up, I want to have 300 subscribers on YouTube. And thanks to you all, we've made that dream a reality." So welcome to the 300 subscriber special for Oh the Humanities, your home for language arts, social studies, and humanity. I'm your host, Mr. Mello, and today we're ranking all of the best bald characters in TV, movies, and comics, and etc., and more. Before we start this video, I want to say, first off, this video idea was created by my students who wanted me to do one of the weirdest things possible, so here you go. If this isn't your cup of tea and you came for the educational content, sorry, this one's just silly and weird. One of my favorite things about stories and storytelling and media is getting to know and love and relate to so many great characters. But you know, personally I'm biased, and there's one type of character out there that I admire more than any other. It's not heroes, it's not villains, it's not the lovable, daring rogue. It's bald people. Characters I can really see myself in. People who go through the hairless struggle. I can say that with a straight face. Okay. Now, astute viewers may know that we technically, actually, a few months ago, recorded a Twitch stream where we did the tier list live, and I wanted to share that with you, but unfortunately, I'm not a streamer, and the audio got all messed up, and it was weird and echoey, so instead of that, I'm going to make this video which recaps our results, and I'm going to just talk about some of the characters, and I figure it's better than nothing. So we already have the tier list made, so we're actually just going to go from F tier right up to A tier. And we're gonna walk through all the characters that me and my Twitch viewers a few months ago went through. We ranked all of these bald characters together, and you are getting the results straight to your computer/phone screen now. Starting with the lowest of the low, the F tier. These characters, despite being bald, I save no love for. We start with a menace to our society, Caillou. Now, have I ever seen Caillou? No, but my students told me F tier, and I trust and believe in them, so F tier. Next we have Thanos. This is going to be a controversial opinion. Listen, I mean, my favorite color is purple. I think he was a great character in Infinity War and Endgame. But the thing is, I don't think Thanos' species has hair in the first place, and this was a big point of discussion in our stream. If a species doesn't have hair in general, can they truly be considered bald? No, they can't. So I'm sorry, Thanos. You're a great character, but in terms of baldness, you're an F tier. Next on F tier is Voldemort. Now, not only does he give the bald community a bad name, I honestly just don't think he's a very good villain. He's one of those villains that's just kind of evil for the sake of being evil, so the hero has someone to fight against. And I look for something a little better in my antagonists. Now we move to D tier. Now, I am a huge anime fan, so Master Roshi had to be on here from Dragon Ball Z. However, he is D tier because I recently rewatched the original Dragon Ball, and this guy is a creep and a bad man. No, thank you. Next on D tier is a beloved television character from Breaking Bad, Walter White, who, when I have a goatee, people always compare me to him, and I'm not like this bad man. But also in serious terms of the story, while Breaking Bad was an excellent show, I felt like Walter White, again, was just, he's an evil bad man. I had trouble getting behind his motivations, especially since he had an escape route from all of his situations from the very beginning. He really just did all of these horrible, horrible things because he's just a bad man. I think it would have been a better show if he had to make his decisions out of true desperation instead of just, what's the word I'm looking for? Megalomania? Moving up to C tier, we now have, from one of the most beloved sitcoms of all time, Seinfeld, we have Mr. George Costanza. C for Costanza. I wanted to put George Costanza on A tier, but since my students rightfully pointed out he's not truly committed to the bald lifestyle and still retains a kind of wreath of hair around his head, and therefore we determined that he's not fully committed to the bald community and the bald lifestyle. And for that reason, George, you're C tier. Next we have Dr. Evil. While being an iconic member of the bald community and a great comic character, I mean, the fact that there are so many other people above him just goes to show how many great baldies we have coming up next. Next on our C tier is Charlie Brown, C for Charlie. While an icon in his own right, you can clearly see that strangely placed on his forehead is some hair, and therefore, can we truly consider Charlie Brown bald? I don't think so. Up next, we have the character that I am currently dressed as. You might remember him from the Generation 1 Pokémon games, Pokémon Red and Blue, the Red Hot Quizmaster, Blaine. Now, I actually love Pokémon, and I kind of love this gym leader, but as in terms of sheer recognizability and people knowing who he is, everyone this Halloween just thought I was Dr. Eggman. I was carrying a Pokeball and everything. No one knows who Blaine is. Next on C tier, we have Gru. My students wanted me to rank Gru high above this. However, Gru released minions into this world. Minions, a true scourge on our society. And for that reason, I had to place him in the C tier. Now we're getting to some truly great baldies. In B tier, starting us off, is Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, an iconic Simpsons villain who is just wonderful and has provided us with many laughs over the years. Truly a great character. Then we have Morpheus. Now this was a controversial placement for this Matrix character, portrayed by Lawrence Fishburne. Now while Morpheus was one of the better parts of the Matrix film, I have this weird problem where I don't like the Matrix very much. I'm sorry everybody. I think the philosophy is very cool, which is why I think Morpheus is like the best part of it. But I thought that Neo as a character, I didn't think he was very interesting. I'm sorry. Up next we have Kingpin from Marvel Comics, an enemy of Daredevil and Spider-Man. Now, this character I actually do really love. There are lots of great interpretations of him throughout the years. Into the Spider-Verse comes to mind, though also Netflix's Daredevil series does a really great exploration of this character that I think is one of the best portrayals we've ever seen of this classic Marvel villain. After that, we have the classic character that everyone thought I was for Halloween, mostly because of these and the color of my mustache, because I didn't want to dye it white, so I guess I didn't really look like Blaine after all. But it's Dr. Eggman / Dr. Robotnik. He has two names, deal with it. From Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog, one of our greatest cultural achievements on our planet. Certainly one of the fastest. I mean, who but Eggman can truly stand as counter and foil to our great hero, Sonic. The last of our B tier members, you know him, you love him. It's Squidward. Again, I was unsure whether to put him in the bald category, because do squids or octopi, how many legs does Squidward have? I think he only has 8 legs, So technically, is Squidward an octopus? Anyway, we're talking about his baldness, not his species right now. And in some SpongeBob episodes, you can see other squids with hair. Therefore, Squidward is a certified bald character, and he is fantastic. So he tops out our B tier. Up next, starting off our A tier, is Okoye from Black Panther, our only female bald competitor today. But, I mean, Okoye is an amazing, cool character within Black Panther. We know her, we love her, we couldn't put her anywhere else but the A tier. Up next, we have the legend Samuel L. Jackson and his portrayal of the Jedi hero, Mace Windu. You know my favorite color is purple. I said it already in this video, and he's the only one with a cool purple lightsaber. Mace Windu rules. He's A tier. Up next, we have Lex Luthor, one of the greatest comic book villains ever. Superman's arch nemesis. I mean, Lex is just an amazing character, and I'm not talking about Jesse Eisenberg. Get him out of here. That take on the character, no thank you. No, we're talking about Lex Luthor of comic book fame. Such an amazing character, because who better to go against the all-powerful Superman than a regular human who, you know, has a point. His whole approach in facing Superman is that Superman, were he to ever turn against us, could annihilate humanity. He genuinely sees Superman as this threat that he's trying to stop. Unlike some of the earlier villains we talked about, I think Lex Luthor, despite his pride and vanity and the negative aspects of his character, he is a great villain because he does have that complexity and that motivation. Now we have another Dragon Ball character, arguably the strongest human character in the Dragon Ball universe. We've got Krillin. Krillin has been committed to the bald lifestyle ever since childhood. Part of that is because he is also a monk, and that is part of the rules. But still, Krillin is cool. Destructo Disc. Yeah. How many times has he died in the series? It's like a lot, right? Probably not as much as Yamcha. Topping out our A tier, it's A for Aang, who honestly could be a top tier character. He could be an S character, but Aang starts with A, and also in book 3, he did grow out his hair. So he truly wavered in his commitment to the bald community and the bald lifestyle. And for that, we still give him the top of A tier, but he didn't quite make it to S tier. Speaking of which, S tier. You know, I think in the last year, we've all learned how important it is to sanitize. And thus, starting us off in S tier is our hero, Mr. Clean. The iconic image of sanitation and cleanliness everywhere, destroying germs one product at a time. Next, we have a double feature of characters portrayed by Sir Patrick Stewart. We've got Professor X of the X-Men, one of my maybe my favorite superhero comic series. I mean, come on, it's Professor X. This guy's incredible. And then you have, also played by Sir Patrick Stewart, Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I wasn't actually a Star Trek fan until this summer, but I started watching The Next Generation, and I just couldn't stop. Turns out, everybody who's been saying it's good was right. This show is awesome. I mean, you've got the space opera and the action, but the important thing is the great philosophical explorations we go on. And I mean, talk about a true hero, a role model to emulate, Jean-Luc Picard. Nearly topping out our S tier, we have from One Punch Man, Saitama. Saitama is also just a fantastic character. It takes the idea of a Superman-like character, someone who's unstoppable and all-powerful, and gives it this great twist because Saitama is just a guy who's a hero for fun, and he happens to be super powerful and can destroy anyone in just one punch. So the great thing about this show is the tension doesn't come from Saitama trying to defeat his different enemies and he can dispatch them all easily. The greatness of this show is exploring what would daily life be like for someone. How bored would you be? How are you going to get your entertainment? How are you going to find these things if there's no real, challenge in your life? And I think that's such a clever, fun premise that is really well executed in One Punch Man. And then our last Baldy, the S of the S tier, the pinnacle of baldness. The pinnacle of characters, really, perhaps in all of literature. There has been no character so iconic, so recognizable, and so beloved. You probably already know who it is, but just in case you don't, it's everyone's favorite green ogre, Shrek. Need I say more? And so, to commemorate Shrek at the top of our bald tier list, I will recite from the sacred tomes. Somebody once told me, the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Thank you, Shrek, and thank you to all of the members of the bald community out there. Thank you to everyone who participated in our tier list, and thank you to everyone who helped me on the original stream to come up with these rankings. Now, if you want to see some more this was not educational content. If you want to see some more educational content and every once in a while an absolutely unhinged, weird, silly video, then please consider subscribing to Oh the Humanities. So today, on the one of the greatest actors in the bald community. I can't keep saying bald community seriously. It's dumb. Okay, this is a silly video idea. Okay. From the anime One Punch Man, am I revealing too clearly how big of an anime fan I am today? No, I will stand by it. I will stand by the anime community.